Oh, isn't it lovely to have sensible transfer work being done, to have a nice big addition on deadline day and the budget being spent wisely? We've had a steady start at Dortmund, but we've got two big tests today. However, we've got a new gem who can help us win it. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 138 of this head coach story with me, Daniel. We are back with Borussia Dortmund after a perfect start on paper, but today we've got two very difficult games. Firstly, we host Ajax in the Champions League, who have been a very strong side in this save. But before that, we go away to Wolfsburg, who so far are the only side to take points off the champions Bayern. We'll see how we get on in those two. We've got a lot of transfer work to get through as well. Deadline day came to life and in a way that for once I'm actually enjoying rather than being upset about. Albeit there may be one big player going out now, but that is a slightly different circumstance. If you're looking forward to it all, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. As so far, the life in Germany is pretty good for me. Let's go and have a look at a transfer window and see how it finished off. Because let's start with the man who may be leaving. This seems like FM are ahead of the curve this time because Saudi Arabian side Al Ittihad are going for a fifth first team player from Europe. They've got Ruben Almeida in their sights for 18.5 million. They've already, I've just had a look at their squad, got players like a 200 grand a week Brazilian international, a right back from Germany who was a superstar, a goalkeeper who's pretty good, and also a centre midfielder in Rafael Reis who was one of the best in the world. I'm sure we came up against him in the Premier League. We did. He was at Bournemouth until a year ago. So it looks like that story is continuing. And although it's something we might see more in FM24, for now, Ruben Almeida might be the man out. The difficulty is, though, we're not going to be able to replace him till January. But for now, we have got some superstars in. Two deadline day additions, one of them essential due to an out, one of them a brilliant first teamer. Let's start with the surprise departure at the start of deadline day. Because Adam Smith, the young Japanese goalkeeper, he's gone on loan to Celtic with those British links and to play in the Champions League, having spent a year at Brentford last season. He was going to be our backup goalkeeper, but he's been replaced, which is the most important thing, and probably by a bit of an upgrade as well. So good luck to him for the year. The football will not harm him. A bit upset we lost Marcel Kraus on deadline day, but when you see the signing, you can understand why. He was a player that there'd been a permanent bid for when we joined the club. He's actually left on loan to Nottingham Forest. I did say in the last episode, didn't I? He is our Joseph Taylor. I hope he isn't sold. Well, he has been. He's on loan at Forest this year. He'll then go permanently after that. So it's another one that got away and another one from the youth academy. But a bit of a frustrating one. Not a big breakup because we've kept our first 11 together and we've added a bit of quality. Let's start though with the replacement for Adam Smith, who's gone out in goal. We've got Mainz backup goalkeeper Sergei Kostenko, and their two goalkeepers were very evenly matched. He actually made a bid for the first choice one first, but he rejected us, and then he went for Kostenko, who for 5.25 million is a 26-year-old former Ukrainian under-21 international. He's got quality across the board. He's got decent reflexes. He's good in the air. He's 6'3". I mean, there's no real negatives in his game. He is the consummate professional, the backup keeper you'd all want, and we're very happy to have him here. We've got Elijah Smith, who's brilliant as the number one, and Kostenko can play second fiddle pretty comfortably. The big addition, though, is a 26 million signing from Gladbach on deadline day, weakening the rival, signing domestically, and Giovanni Mulder is definitely a man for the future. He is a 22-year-old Dutchman. That means a whole attacking midfield three are now Dutch internationals. He's scoring 1 and 2 for them. He scored a few for Norwich and for Gladbach, and he will be our left winger for the season. He is brilliant physically, electric quick, he's got flair, he's a leader, he's professional, he's good off the ball, his technical stuff, the key areas are all great. I mean, he's a very good footballer. With Cardon coming towards the end, having a ready-made replacement is brilliant, and I'm hopeful as we move through the rest of this year, he's going to get more and more important. Got room to improve still, he's a very good pro. I mean, you can't be much happier than a signing like that. A modest wage, a modest transfer fee, and another one that Dortmund will make a big profit on. So very good work in a transfer window. Very different to what we saw under John Murtow. None of the chaos, none of the 20 players leaving and then trying desperately to replace them all on deadline day. Just a balanced squad with clever additions, and we're very happy with where we are. Let's have a look at what that's done for the schedule, because we have won all of our games so far. We've not been wholly convincing. I'm not sure I need to be too worried about that, because we mentioned on paper it's a very tricky start. If you look at next month and the majority of November, we've actually got much easier league games on paper. Just a shame about the cup ones for that. It probably makes the Ajax game more important today, because the next 3 Champions League games are stinkers. Away at City, the best side in Europe, are home to Arsenal, and away to Napoli, and then that cup tie against Bayern, which is just a really unfortunate draw. But the games we have played, you saw the Stuttgart win, very comfortable in that one. We were brilliant first half against Hertha Berlin, 2 goals from Luis Canales to open his Bundesliga account. They did get one back straight after half time, but we managed to settle the game down after that. The same goal scorer got both, as we snuck a 2-1 win against Gladbach. They did pull us back late on, but we managed to get an even later winner thanks to Canales. And he scored another match-winning brace away at Hamburg after the international break, but this one far more comfortable. A 93rd minute consolation, yes, ruining the clean sheet, but ultimately not affecting the outcome. A 3-0 win away at PAOK, a much better result in our opening Champions League match. Probably one of the easier games we had on paper. The only other one that should be very winnable is at home to Pogoń, who are from Poland. We've also got Roma and Barcelona in the group, so plenty of big games to choose from there. But in that one, it was Mulder who got his first for the club, opener scoring on that occasion. Canales and Sniper got one apiece after that, and they both combined at home to Hoffenheim last Saturday to get us a 3-1 win, with Canales getting 2 and Sniper the other. Again, a game that was probably over at half time. So we're coming out of the traps fast, but at the moment, physical fitness is an issue. We've not yet got a full replacement or replenishment of our coaching staff. A lot of them, as we mentioned, went with the former manager in the summer, so we're just waiting for them to get back up to speed. And to be fair, apart from that, there's not too much to complain about. This is going to be tricky because we've got 2 tough games 4 days apart, but with the lack of reserve games, with the lack of youth games, does make it a bit harder to try and keep people fit. We'll try and get it right as the season goes on. So a lot of big games to come. We start today with Wolfsburg, who are the only team to stop Bayern winning this season. They got a 2-2 draw against them. And to be fair, they ran by a Leverkusen very close. They played all right against Frankfurt and they beat Leipzig. They've had a horrible start as well. What doesn't help us today is Wolfsburg have got a star goal scorer. You can see he scored in nearly every single game. And it is the man whose name has come up already. Joseph Taylor, one of my little favourites from this save. 4 goals in 6 games. He's scoring basically 1 in 2 for Wolfsburg. And I've no idea why United let him go. It is part of the reason I'm here rather than still at United. And if I'm being quite honest with you, I would put my house on him scoring against us today. So let's hope that I'm wrong on that front. Let's go and get through the inbox. Let's go and get to the game. Bayern have won already. Leverkusen, that is. Leipzig, Stuttgart. Lots of the big boys getting results. Gladbach too. I think Bayern are in action tomorrow. So we can put a bit of pressure on if we win this one. We got away to Wolfsburg, who are in mid-table. Let's go and make our changes as need be. We've just about got everyone back fit. We'll be back in a moment. Well, a couple of big fitness decisions that needed to be made today. Joaquin has had a couple of knocks in the week. He's not quite ready to play this one. So he drops out for Almeida, who I don't know when the transfer window is in Saudi. So it might be his last game. We've got to make the most of the fitness if we need to. And the other change is Aubert coming in at right back. Steinker has been brilliant, but he is at an injury risk. He's training the best every week. He's working hard. And I don't want to stifle that by overplaying him. So an away game where we need a more defensively solid fullback, it just makes sense for Aubert to come in. And hopefully he'll be able to build his fitness and play pretty well. The rest of it we know is brilliant. Sniper is having a super start to the season. Canales is a massive threat in front of goal. But defensively, we are a little weaker. And maybe that's where we need to get 1 or 2 additions. But for now, a great front 4, a great goalkeeper. The rest in between is more than passable. It is Elijah Smith between the sticks with Aubert and Van der Plume at fullback. Merville and Nlapo at the centre halves with Almeida and Keeley in front of them. And then Koomson, Sniper and Mulder, the new boy in the attacking midfield 3 with Luis Canales up front. The other man who'd been out injured was Cardon. That's why Mulder had come straight in. So we may have a decision to make on that front. But given the pace that Mulder possesses, he's probably a better option on the road. and then card on at home when we need to thread the needle a bit more might be the option for now. Let's go and submit the team. It's Wolfsburg away. We've generally been playing on the front foot in the first half, and then as we've got a little bit tense in the second, we've been dropping back. If we can get a lead in this one, we might try and preempt that, but we know this is going to be tough. We've seen what they did with Bayern. We've seen what they've done against Leipzig. They have got results against top sides. They've dropped Joseph Taylor to the bench, which I'm thrilled about. If they've got 4 attacking players better than him, we're probably in a bit of trouble today, to be honest, because he's a very good footballer. Let's go and get into the first half. A massive yellow wall in the away end behind the goal. A 4-2-3-1 for Wolfsburg today. Still loving the Bundesliga graphics. Let's go and get into it. Well, a very quiet first half, as you can see. Just 2 minutes to the break. We've had no highlights, albeit we've been the better side on the stats. We've kept the ball well. We've tried to get them tired, but for now, it's a bit similar to most of the other games, albeit we managed to get first half goals in a lot of them. It is a case of always at the first 2 or 3 months of a season, of a change of tactic or a new club, you get the moments of magic, but you don't get the completely cohesive performance. I'm going to say don't lose faith. You're doing all right. Keep going well, and the scoreboard will eventually reflect it. But I don't know if I 100% believe that message myself. Hopefully with Wolfsburg not behind, they won't come out and try and attack us. With an hour gone, I'm going to have to force a change here, aren't I? Because it doesn't look like there's anything coming, and we can't have a whole match without a highlight. So Orbert has built his fitness a bit, as has Almeida. The 2 first teamers, Joaquin and Steinkert, will come back in. I'm also going to bring off Kumson, and he will be replaced by Leonid Gruznov, a different option as a proper winger out there. And then I'm looking out to the left. Do we take Mulder off? We've got our big man back now. We'll give it 5 more minutes. 25 to go. I mean, it's not a terrible result, but you can see why they've managed to hold some of the big sides. They are pretty encouraging defensively. Oh, I don't like the kick clash. Thank God we haven't seen much of this. Ball headed away from a set piece, and now Sniper can counter. He's supposed to be the big star of this team. What can he produce here? Holds the ball up well for Mulder. He takes his man on down the left. Should beat him for pace. Got 2 or 3 in the middle. It's a good cross towards Gruznov, and he heads over the bar. Ah, Leonid Gruznov, the former Palace hero. He could have been the man there. Who are we being recommended to take off? Because there's a few struggling. We've got Sniper struggling a bit. Canales hasn't had the best game. Mulder's not really fit now. I'm not sure what to do. I think we're going to go for Mulder off and on comes Carden, because that's the most similar change. Get back to what we know. People who have got familiar relationships. And then Nkili in a holding role. Maybe for Kelvin Santos. Just because, again, I want to go for players who have played a few games for the club and who are confident on the ball. There is no doubt we've been the better side. But the super sub Joseph Taylor is on, and that gets me worried. We've got a few minutes remaining. One more bit of encouragement. I mean, it's not a disastrous result. We're matching Bayern Munich so far this season, but it is our first drop points. It is the same game that Bayern Munich, the champions, dropped points, and we are now on 16 after 6. I don't think we can complain too much, but we are getting to the stage now where Canales has a bad game, and we struggle to win. We're going to need to make sure that doesn't happen too often. Back in a moment for the Champions League as Ajax are in town. Well, here it is then, our first home Champions League night in front of the yellow wall, and we've got, by the looks of it, pretty much everyone fit. No news on Almeida yet, which may be a good sign, but let's have a look at what we can do today. Frankfurt, despite a relatively friendly start on paper, are top with a perfect record. Bayern won 6-0 to overtake us on goal difference. We didn't know if we were going to win the title this year. I think it's going to be a 3-horse race. That's the impression I'm getting. Let's have a look at the fixtures and see how we get on. Borussia Dortmund versus Ajax, who have got, well, a pretty good side. And to be fair, with most of Europe loaded, we know there's quality players everywhere. We look at the players they've got in their lineup. They've got a German goalkeeper who is a bit of a superstar. He's a very good goalkeeper, actually. And their important player on the left wing is someone worth 188 million. Raul Meka, yeah, he's not bad at all, is he? They've also got a Turkish centre midfielder worth over 100 million. And they've got, in fact, that Turkish midfielder, that's the one that John Murtow bid for, wasn't it? He's developed pretty well, in fairness to him. On the other end of the scale, they've got a couple just going into their 30s who are very good. I mean, this is a good Ajax side. They've got quality. They've got the best right back in the world, by the way. I mean, there's a lot going on there. We're going to struggle to win this game. but I like to make sure we get it done. We should on paper just about be best. We're going to go back to the two first teamers who were given a break at the weekend. I'm going to bring Cardon in for Mulder just to give him a rest as he settles into the club. Bit worried about Coombson's performances the last week or so, but we're going to stick with it. We get as many as we can on the bench, which I think probably 10 from the first team. Johansson couldn't be registered due to the lack of people homegrown at the club. And then if we go and have a look at the youth teams, there are two good players in the 23s. One of them is the left winger there, and the other one is the number 10 there. There's the right back we talked about. Warnings to close him down. He is genuinely exquisite. I mean, 4.5-star ability by our standards. Our two right backs are 2.5-star by comparison. The Dutch must be the best side in the world here. We talked about them winning a World Cup before, but they've managed to get another generation through, haven't they? You look at our attacking midfield three when Mulder's in. You look at the likes of Borussia at right back. I mean, there's quality everywhere. Let's go and tell the lads they should be winning the match. I'm not sure I'm entirely in agreement with that. The Champions League music is about to play, but we'll get straight through it. We've experienced it before. We'll be back for the first half. Well, isn't it ironic that we were talking about FM superstitions on this channel yesterday, because I closed the game last night on a good run of form, winning games, scoring goals, Canales flying. We've come back today, we've turned on FM, and in a game and a half, we have not scored a goal. There's an FM superstition for you. The fans expect to win, don't let them down. No, I'm going to say I'm not happy with what I've seen. Let's get them fired up. Let's get them on the front foot. I mean, apparently, all of the attacking players are playing well. We've got 1.5 expected goals. We're just not putting the ball in the back of the net. And that seems to be a problem today that we didn't have a week or so ago. We will have a quick look at United as well, because I can see they're 2-0 down. As Ajax are on the front foot, it would be a smash and grab based on the stats, but they might well get it at this point. Although they go 60 yards back to their goalkeeper there, and that just relieves a little pressure. The pressing not quite working at the moment, as Demon goes back to Kopier and Kutzer. We don't want them to switch it to the right where they've got their stars, but they've managed to work out. Into midfield it goes. Can we nick the ball? We know Ajax are going to be good in possession. We know they like to pass it around, but can we catch them out? Doesn't look like it. They're playing around us. They're toying with us, to be honest. Mijero gets it back, and there we go. Coombson nicks it, the Dutchman. Gets towards the byline, cuts back to Joaquin. He's got two inside of him, but goes back to Steinker, to Nkili, and Ziva. He got to be fouled. Doesn't matter at the minute, because Coombson's put it in. Now that's going to be deemed offside, I think, as we go to the replay. If it is, though, I want a VAR check for the penalty as well. Is the goal going to count? Doesn't matter. The goal's awarded. Sniper with that bit of magic to unlock the door, and Coombson puts the ball in the corner. As good as Sniper is, his fitness is a concern. Not the most naturally fit, but should be good enough to do what he's doing here. And with 25 to go, we are 1-0 up, and soon we'll think about changes, as Nkili nicks it, but not for long. Sniper working hard to get back. He does really well there. And he plays short to Van der Pluim and Cardon. Just thinking of the Dutch players, there's the other fullback, Van der Pluim. With the one that Ajax have got a right back as well. That's 5 world-class players immediately, as Coombson nicks it high again. Canales to Sniper, and inside a Cardon, Coombson again. Straight at the goalkeeper. Ajax free kick. I think we need to make some changes, don't we? We've got 20 minutes to go, and I think we just need to freshen it up a little. Steinker is going to be replaced by Aubert again. I'm going to bring on Mulder, but I've not decided who for. I think I might give Sniper the rest, although we've got Braunschweig at the weekend and we should beat them. So Cardon will come off, Mulder on for him. We're also going to make the change in midfield with Joaquin, who struggled with injury and fitness. Almeida is on there. But as you can see from our bench, there's not a lot of natural fitness or match fitness, because we've not got a lot of B team or reserve games. So I'm going to have to sort that in the next few weeks, get people up to scratch. But for now, we've made those 3 changes. Aubert strengthens the team. Mulder arguably does as well. It's just Almeida who is forced on, but that is because of injury. Let's see how long we can get without making the final 2 changes, because we've deserved to win this game. And as Bayern are blowing away Monaco, we are seeing a difference between the teams here. Canales is going to get a little rest. He'll be replaced by Mugnai up front. And then Nkili, the holding midfielder, same sub for Santos. He's 33 now. We've got to look after him. And at the moment, I feel like we're just doing enough. We're 1-0 up with 5 minutes to go. Let's see if we can hold on. I'll praise the lads. They've been playing well. but we might need to get the time wasting on as we head into 4 extra minutes. We're going to go balanced. We're going to go defensive fullbacks. We are going to drop Koomson and Mulder to wide midfield positions as a winger on support on the left. And on the right, we'll go for an inverted winger on support. And then we're also going to time waste all the time. We can still do all the rest of our game normally. But I just want to be a bit more secure. Protect the fullbacks, keep the ball for a bit longer. And it's enough. It wasn't a vintage display, but we get the 1-0 win. Unfortunately, Canales, well, there's the FM superstition working. The game's been reloaded and he can't score to save his life. But a crucial thing is that we have got another win. And that is 6 points down in a Champions League. When this side settles and gets used to the tactic, they're going to be absolutely brilliant. Oh, there you go. Koomson refusing to celebrate against his former club. Good to see the Ajax Academy working as well as ever. Bayern have got themselves a win after an opening day defeat. Real Madrid, Arsenal, Inter, the usual suspects near the top. Let's go and have a look at the schedule and see when we're going to be back, because there are huge games on the horizon. Well, for the next couple of months, as we've mentioned, there are a friendlier run of league games on the horizon. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to show you 3 big episodes in the next 3 months. So we're going to come back to face Manchester City away. They're the best side in Europe. They largely had the better of us when we were at United. We're going to try and get a bit of revenge with a slightly better side. We'll also then play Schalke off camera and come back for the Bayern game in the Cup, because if we win that, we can probably then go all the way through to the final. We'll then, in 2 episodes' time, do Arsenal at home and Frankfurt at home, providing that Frankfurt are still up there in the table. And then in the middle of December, we've got Bayern away in the league, 3 nights after playing Barcelona. I mean, that is a very big finish to the year. We've made the big time, everybody, but can we get a better record against City now we're at our new club? We'll find out the answer next time. It's almost a final of the German Cup, even though it's the second round, because we're so far clear of most of the other sides. You would expect the winner to go on and win the trophy. If you did enjoy this episode though, tight for goals but 2 very good defensive performances, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments how you think we get on in the 2 big games next time out. We've got a few easier games in the league, so we should be able to rotate a touch, and hopefully that will be to our benefit. If you want to stay up to date and find out if I'm right, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in 2 days' time for the big games, but the Build a Nation is back first tomorrow. And my word, we have got a season finale on our hands. A chance at history, but potentially being overshadowed by another side in our nation. Come and join us to find out what I'm talking about. All the other links in the eye above. We had a recent update for the podcast, what's to come in the 23-24 season. And on Twitch, we'll be live regularly with F1 Manager round the corner. Thank you very much for watching though. Your support is always appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for 2 of the biggest games you could ever imagine.